Here at Driving Television, we get a lot of emails from you, our viewers, asking us about diesel vehicles. And to be honest, we don't get quite as much feedback about hybrids.
It seems that there's a certain percentage of the population that's really into diesel, because even in these trying economic times, if the brand has a good lineup of diesel vehicles, it seems to be selling quite well.
But the thing is, for most of you, when you think of a diesel vehicle, you picture a smelly, old, very loud type vehicle, like the kind of diesels that they made back in the 70s and 80s. Like the Volkswagen Rabbit diesel or the old Mercedes sedans with big clouds of smoke billowing out the back.
But that's all changed. There's a new generation of clean diesels that have tailpipe emissions that rival a hybrid, plus they get great mileage.
So we want to find out if these new generation of clean diesels will be appealing to buyers who might not have thought of buying one or even trying one.
So today we're going to take 4 average drivers and let them take out a brand new 2009 clean diesel for a few days and see if diesel might be an option, what mileage they got, and what they thought of the vehicle overall.
They include a kinesiologist, a realtor, a stay-at-home mom, and our very own cameraman and editor. Before we tell you more about our test drivers, let's find out about diesel technology and how it's changed.
Rudolph Diesel was granted a patent for the diesel engine way back in 1898, utilizing an early form of biofuel, peanut oil. The idea behind the design was to compress the fuel and air in the engine cylinder to a point of combustion without an ignition spark. As time went on, peanut fuel was replaced with a petroleum product less refined than gasoline, later named diesel. Now, diesel fuel isn't as heavily refined as gasoline. So if you have a liter of diesel fuel, it's got more energy contained in that liter of fuel, which means you use less of it to go the same distance as a gasoline car. That means you're producing less CO2 into the atmosphere, and essentially you're using less fuel to go the same distance, which means you get better mileage.
But the recent problem has been the amount of fumes that the diesel engine produces. So as Zach already mentioned, it has low amounts of carbon dioxide already, so that wasn't a problem. What they needed to do was treat the amount of soot that comes out of the tailpipes. Until recently, the very popular diesel engines sold in Europe could not be sold here because our North American diesel was full of sulfur. Low sulfur fuel has since been introduced a few years ago, but then the California government introduced a new, stricter tailpipe emission standard for 2009 diesels. So tough that they rival gasoline tailpipe emissions.
In order to treat that soot or nitrous oxide, they had to retool the engines and especially treat the exhaust gases. Well, a lot of work is being done, and the new clean diesels are here, and it's no surprise that the Germans are leading the way.
We have a sample of all new diesels for our guest test drivers to try out. So let's meet our test drivers and their vehicles. Kelly is a kinesiologist who currently drives a 2008 Volkswagen Jetta with a 2.5-liter gasoline engine.
Well, from what I remember through the years and seeing diesels, having never driven one, I remember them always being loud and smelly and smoky.
Kelly puts on a lot of kilometers every month visiting her clients, so we decided that she would be the perfect match for the new 2009 Jetta TDI wagon.
This is going to be a wonderful test that I'm really looking forward to.
Stefan is a realtor who spends much of his day behind the wheel of his Hemi-powered 2007 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
I've never owned a diesel. I borrowed my father's mid-1990s Volkswagen Passat diesel, and it was really scary merging onto the freeway. I think I could run faster than that.
For him, we chose the new Mercedes ML320 BlueTech diesel.
Can I boot it?
And we'll be interested to see if he misses the power of his Hemi.
Andrea is a stay-at-home mom who's had several German cars, including a BMW X5, and she now drives a Porsche Cayenne.
The environmental aspects of driving a diesel are really important to me. My children are learning in school how to be environmentally friendly, so this is important to them, and what's important to them is important to me. And if I could have a vehicle that is more fuel efficient than what I currently have, absolutely that would impress me.
To help her move her family around, we chose the BMW X5 diesel.
Our last test driver is a face you've seen before on Driving Television, our camera operator and editor, Brian.
I'm going to go this way. too many speed bumps the other way.
His pride and joy is his BMW 335, so we decided to give him the diesel version of his own car.
BMW's taken a great car, the 335, and they put a diesel in it. It's a performance vehicle, and you're going to put a diesel in it, so I'm really curious of how it's going to perform.
When we come back, we'll tell you all about these new clean diesel products.
And later on, we'll find out what our test drivers think, plus the mileage that they got.
All coming up on Driving Television.